All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into the microscopic world. We're going to look at a brilliant solution to a problem that was, well, literally blinding scientists. It's all about the hidden universe inside the microchips that power, pretty much everything. I mean, just think about that for a second. How do you do that? This is the huge challenge for anybody working at the nanoscale. We're not talking about your phone's camera here. You need some seriously powerful tools and, as you're about to see, some really clever thinking to actually see something that small. So the hero of our story today is this tiny but incredibly important thing called a silicon-on-insulator wafer. We'll just call it an SOI wafer. These little things are basically the foundation for the super fast, super efficient microchips in your phone, your computer, you name it. The easiest way to think about it is like a high-tech sandwich. You've got a thick silicon base, that's kind of like the bottom slice of bread. Then there's a super thin middle layer, which is an insulator. And on top of that, an even thinner layer of pure silicon. Now, this specific structure is what makes them so good, but it's also what was causing a massive headache for researchers. Okay, so here's where our story hits a snag. To make sure these wafers are built perfectly, you've got to be able to look inside them. That means snapping one in half and taking a picture of the cross-section. But when scientists tried to do this, they ran smack into a huge, frustrating problem. The goal was simple, right? Get a really sharp, detailed picture so you can see every single layer. But instead, what they got was this bright, blurry mess. A weird glare just completely washed out the most important part of the image, making it totally impossible to see what was going on. And the villain of our story? It's a thing called SEM charging. You see, these scientists use what are called scanning electron microscopes, which fire a beam of electrons at a sample to make an image. The trouble is, when that beam hits the insulating layer in the wafer, that electrical charge gets stuck, it has nowhere to go. And all that trapped energy creates a blinding glare. It's kind of like taking a photo of a mirror with a flash on. You just see white. This created a real catch-22. Normally, the way you'd fix this is by coating the sample with a little bit of metal to help the charge drain away. But wait, you can't coat the very surface you're trying to look at. That would just cover up all the details. It really seemed like there was no way to win. But this is where the genius comes in. The researchers came up with a simple, elegant, and honestly a kind of weird idea that completely outsmarted the problem, all with a tiny bit of gold. Check this out. It's called the coat-then-cleave method. So first, instead of coating the part they wanted to see, they put a super thin layer of gold on the top of the wafer. Then they just snapped it in half, like a candy bar. This gives you a perfectly clean, totally uncoated cross-section to look at. And here's the trick. That little gold layer on the top now acts like a tiny lightning rod, pulling all that extra charge away before it can build up and ruin the picture. Just brilliant. Now, that sounds great in theory. It's a fantastic idea. But did it work? This is the moment of truth. Let's actually look at the evidence. First, the hard data. The numbers don't lie. They measured the brightness from that nasty glare. Let's call the original, uncoated sample 100% brightness. With that simple gold coating on top, the glare's brightness dropped all the way down to just 25%. That's a 75% reduction. A huge difference. But really, the pictures tell the whole story. I mean, look at this. The before shot is that blurry, washed-out mess we were talking about. You can't see a thing. But the after shot, wow. It is crystal clear, high resolution, everything's in focus. You can see every single layer perfectly. It absolutely worked. And get this, that gold layer, that lightning rod, was only 500 angstroms thick. To put that in perspective, a single human hair is about 1,000,000 angstroms wide. So this was a layer that was literally just a few hundred atoms thick. We're talking about an incredibly delicate solution to a delicate problem. So why is this one little trick such a big deal? Well, by solving that glare problem, this technique gives engineers a way to actually check their work. They can find tiny defects, improve their designs, and ultimately push technology forward. It opened up a clear window into our most important tech. And you don't have to just take my word for it. The conclusion from the actual research paper says it all, confirming that this simple two-step process, coat, then cleave, is a solid, effective way to get rid of that charging problem. It's a real solution. So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, first, we saw how one annoying problem can literally stop science in its tracks. But we also saw that the answer isn't always something more complicated. Sometimes it's a creative, almost backwards idea that unlocks everything. This really is just a great story about human ingenuity. So this simple trick, coating the top just so you can see the side, brought a whole hidden world into focus. And it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else is out there, invisible to us right now, just waiting for the next clever idea to come along and let us see it? What are we going to discover next? Thanks for tuning in.